Okay, welcome everybody to another edition of TEW 2020. It is time to continue our WWE 2013 series, but first, as I've been doing in the other videos, a quick little ad here to put over that I have this YouTube channel census for the channel here, and it's a really quick thing, 4 or 5 questions, just letting me know which series you watch, which one's your favorite, which ones you don't watch, what you want to see more of, what you want to see less of. Like I said, it's 4 or 5 questions. It'll take you like maybe 5 minutes if you take a lot of time to think about, less than that. I just want to hear from everybody who's watching, see what they want to see more of, what they want to see less of. Obviously, if people are watching stuff, I'll keep doing it, but just want to see a little finer look at what people are actually want that are paying a little more attention. So yeah, just go ahead and enjoy that. Do that real quick. Click the link at below, and then go from there. But I'll be back in just a second with the actual show. We got Raw in beautiful Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and because of how popular it works, there's basically nobody here. But that's fine. No worries. We have a Raw opening, which gets a 72. Then we have the Cena Orton showdown, where basically, John Cena comes out, says, he's never going to give up. He's the WWE champion for a reason. And if Orton thinks, hitting a few RKOs and getting lucky is going to give him this title, he's got another thing coming. Orton comes down and says, Cena, you think just because you fought against a few tough men, you're going to keep this title? You never faced me like this. You never faced me when I'm truly ready to become the world universal, the W champion once again, and take you out and kill your legend before it begins. So they continue to fight, but they continue, throw, things back and forth. And eventually, out comes your friend of mine, Vicky Guerrero, who says, well, Cena, you're not quite ready to wrestle. We don't have a match for you tonight. But Randy, excuse me, but yes, you did win last week. But I still think you need some competition before you finally earn this title shot. Orton gets upset at that, but he's Orton, so no big deal. Vicky says, so tonight I want you to face a former champion, a man who's had a rough go of it the last little bit, especially last week, but so will be truly ready to take you on and give you the fight of give you a big, tough fight tonight, and that man is Daniel Bryan. Cue yes chants and crowd popping, as yes, it'll be Orton versus Daniel Bryan tonight in the main event, as this gets an 83. We move forward, we get a highlight reel with Ziggler, which gets a 73. The announcement there will be a highlight reel with Ziggler later tonight, which gets a 73. Then in our opening match, which gets a 55, not bad, the Team Rhodes Scholars of Cody Rhodes and Damon Sandow defeats Gabriel and Kidd, Justin Gabriel and Tyson Kidd, in 9:06 when Cody Rhodes pins Tyson Kidd with a roll-up. So what happens here is, Gabriel and Kidd are working pretty well together, but eventually, Gabriel gets knocked off, thanks to the Rhodes Scholars cheating. Kidd goes to try to help him up. That gives Cody Rhodes just enough time to basically knock him into the corner, roll him up, hold the tights, and get a quick pinfall victory over Gabriel and Kidd as the crowd boos. This gets a 55. Tyson Kidd gets a 55 himself. Interesting. Gabriel gets a 47. Sandow gets a 40. Cody Rhodes gets a 58. Good stuff. And then post-match, Cesaro simply comes out and puts to Gabriel and then, nods to Kidd and sort of shrugs and then walks away. I essentially put over, Cesaro's is trying to seduce Kidd over to his side of things and make him abandon Gabriel. As this gets a 50, as it's just a quick post-match segment. Then we have a Randy Orton promo, which gets a 72, where basically says, Daniel Bryan is a great wrestler, but he's facing the Viper tonight. And Cena can show up, Vicky Guerrero can give whatever matches she wants, but all it takes is just like that, one RKO down, and 1, 2, 3. I'm moving on to what I deserve, the WWE Championship. 72, solid promo. As in, we move forward. As backstage, we have Kofi Kingston with the U.S. Champion, and then he looks up and sees all the Shield, basically up looking down at him, and he's like, "Trouble?" And they explore over, that Seth never really got the shot he deserved, and Kofi's like, "Well, I mean, Seth, you don't get a rematch. Like, you guys can beat me up, but you're not going to give me a rematch. Like, that's not a good way to get Vicky Guerrero to give you a match. However, Dean, you're half of the tag champs now, so I'll face you tonight later on, if you're ready for it." And Dean Ambrose simply nods, and then Roman puts his fist at, right at the locker by Kofi, and Kofi just sort of has to grin and bear it. As this gets to 69, nice. Then we have a quick squash as Ryback kills Yoshitatsu in 358 by pinfall. The Shell Shocked. They don't even click, which is unfortunate, but this gets a 45. Ryback gets a 65. Yoshitatsu gets a 31. And then post-match, Ryback goes to kill Tatsu with another Shell Shock, but out comes Sheamus, and they start fighting before WWE officials can break them apart, as these two men seem to not like each other very much, as this gets a 67. Then to go backstage, where Kaitlyn's still a little confused about, Ryan Lee being, aka AJ Lee's little/big brother, being the secret admirer. AJ Lee, says, "Don't worry, Ryan's back home, but next week, I want you two to go on a date because he deserves it. Like, he's had his problems. He's never gotten the attention of the women, but he's really likes you. So I just want you to give him one chance." Kaitlyn's still a little worried, but then pushing say anything else. AJ's like, "Oh, and you have a match tonight." Kaitlyn's confused, but then she goes out. As this gets a 42 and sort of continues this little funny, weird angle. Then we have that's just mean. Little Heat and Embarrassing Wrestling. Tamina Snuka defeats Kaitlyn in 441 by pinfall with a Superfly Splash after distraction from AJ Lee. As AJ brings out a bouquet of flowers with Ryan Lee's names on them, Kaitlyn's like, "Why are you doing this in the middle of a match?" That allows Tamina to hit the big boot, go up top, hit the splash, and get the pinfall victory over the Divas champion. As this gets a 23, Kaitlyn gets a 24. Snuka gets a 34. Post-match, Kaitlyn and AJ, tries to go in the ring, give flowers to Kaitlyn. Kaitlyn throws the flowers away and then pushes AJ Lee away. As this gets a 50. As just before we cut to commercials, we see a small smirk on AJ Lee's face. Then we have the 93, good. As we have a highlight segment, highlight reel with Chris Jericho welcoming down Dolph Ziggler. Chris Jericho says he was impressed by Dolph Ziggler, being aggressive and taking the opportunity to become a world champion. But now, at Payback, he'll be facing Alberto Del Rio one-on-one for the final time. Dolph Ziggler, he's always been a show-off, and he's ready to face down Del Rio right in the middle of the ring and prove why he's the world heavyweight champion. Jericho, says, "Well, you never faced me for that title." Ziggler's like, "Well, if you want to wrestle, we can wrestle, but, I'm not going to actually take you, you beat Fandango. That's, who hasn't beat Fandango? Hell, it was more a surprise when Fandango beat you at WrestleMania. Of course, that gets Jericho a little upset and says, "Look, he got lucky. And I showed at Extreme Rules that he's just a dancing fool. I beat The Rock and Steve Austin one night. What the hell have you done?" So you push back "Oh, so you think just because you got lucky yourself almost over a decade ago that's your shot whenever you want? Fine. Face me in the ring and I'll show you why I'm the world heavyweight champion and you're having issues with a dancing guy." 93, good promo. And as we come back, it's officially announced it will be a non-title match, Dolph Ziggler versus Chris Jericho on SmackDown. And then we go backstage where 3MB play rock, paper, scissors to determine who gets a match in a moment. After a couple false starts, Heath Slater wins, celebrates over the top, as Jinder looks a little blasé about the whole thing, while Drew tries to hype Heath up as he goes out to the ring. This gets a 44. And then, Alberto Del Rio kills him in 439. This gets a 60, because Del Rio's actually pretty good. Del Rio gets a 71. Slater gets a 39. And yes, Slater and Drew play the livable goofball role, while Jinder is a little, upset at ringside. And post-match, Del Rio does a quick in-ring as he gets a 66. Unfortunately, rolls badly. But he says, "I saw Dolph Ziggler earlier saying, he's going to prove he's a rightfully world heavyweight champion. That title should be around my waist, and it will be my destiny to win it back at Payback. And so Ziggler, keep it shiny and nice for me, because it's coming back around my waist in just a few weeks." 66, solid promo. We move forward. And then in the match, a decent match, Kofi Kingston defeated Dean Ambrose in 10:48 by countout. Kofi makes defense number 3 of the U.S. title. This gets a 57. Kofi gets a 58. Ambrose gets a 57. Finishes basically. Ambrose goes, goes for a move up, tries to sort of run at Kofi on the outside. Kofi uses his quick reflexes to get out of the way. Ambrose eats the barrier on the ringside, and Kofi slides in right before the 10 count, and Dean Ambrose gets the count out victory. So, of course, the Shield, being the nice people they are, go for a 3-1 beatdown, and then Evan Bourne, of all people, come down to try to make the save. Now, as we put over that, Kofi and Bourne, of course, teamed up previously, but they also get beat down, unfortunately for Evan, and so the Shield stand tall once again, as this gets a 56. Then we go backstage where 3B are licking their wounds. This gets a 55. And we have backstage where Mark Henry is again pulling Jinder Mahal and is basically, trying to explain to him, like, look what just happened. You were a joke there. Like, they may be your friends, they may be fun to hang out with, but look at you, man. You're 270 pounds of muscle. You could be on top of the world once again. You just need have that aggression. We need to push these guys to the side, let them do whatever they're going to do, let them be the failures. You could be a real man, Mark. Jinder, think about it. Then Mark walks away. This gets a 55. Good stuff. Then we have backstage where basically Cena is hyping up Bryan. Bryan's, a little worried because, King, of course, got sent to, basically vacation land for a minute after getting attacked by the Shield, and he's worried, that he never, he's lost it. Cena's like, you gave me, you've been one of the hottest wrestlers in the world. You can do this. You've been fighting the Shield for months, and now you got Randy in front of you. He's a hell of a wrestler, but you're just as good, Bryan. So get out there and show him. This gets to 73, perfectly solid promo. Not my best, but what can you do? Then, in a bout that a good heat piece wrestling, Sheamus defeated and turned to Cesaro in 12:47 by DQ when Ryback comes in and attacks Sheamus. So back and forth, two guys beating the crap out of the other match. Sheamus gets a 69, Cesaro gets a 58. Of course, Ryback ran in and attacked him. And then, Ryback tries to take out Sheamus, but Sheamus fights back. And again, WWE officials have to break him apart, and this gets a 67. And we come back from commercial basically with the announcement that Vicky Guerrero has deemed it at Payback. It'll be Sheamus versus Ryback. Back. Where are you, buddy? There you are. Then we go backstage where Josh Matthews catches up with Kofi and Evan, not Ethan, that's somebody else. And Kofi, they explain, they used to be a team. Kofi's done as his own, but, they've always been friends, and this is what friends do for each other. And, if the Shield want to face them on with actual even odds, they're ready for a fight at any time. 54, decent promo. Then we have a Payback guy, which gets a 66. Then, in our main event, in about that fantastic heat and great wrestling, Randy Orton defeated Daniel Bryan in 15:07 by pinfall, says with a handful of tights. But basically, it's Bryan goes for the knee of death. Orton gets out of the way. Bam, RKO out of nowhere. 1, 2, holds the tights, 3. As Orton gets a victory, this gets a 79. Orton gets a 78. Bryan gets a 75. I have never actually seen this. That's interesting. So yeah, I guess Bryan now has that ground public support, or anyway, Orton, is going for the punt because he's evil Randy Orton, but then John Cena eventually comes down, makes a save, and there's a standoff between them to end the show as the announcers hype up their huge payback match between Randy Orton and John Cena for the WWE Championship. And overall, the show gets an 82. Okay, not bad. Again, this you can have a pretty good show when you put your basically 3 of your top guys in the main event. Can't do that for every Raw, but that's why we're building people on the undercard and such. Anyway, be back in just a moment with Smackdown. Right, and now it's time for Smackdown. As we start with the Smackdown opening, featuring Dolph Ziggler, which gets a 73 as we're in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. So hopefully Jericho will be a little more over. as we put over Jericho and Ziggler tonight, as, announcers, put over the fact that, Jericho lost story last week, but he's looking for a little bit of, retribution here tonight in front of some of his home country fans, as this gets to 66. Let me start out with the match that was set up last week on Smackdown, as these guys just left the fight. As by like great heat, and good wrestling, Sheamus and The Miz defeated Wade Barrett and Ryback in 1327. When The Miz pinned Wade Barrett with a skull-crushing finale, this gets a 71. Basic, heels can't get along. Ryback wants, people want to just wreck people. Barrett wants, wants to wrestle in his bullhammer. Eventually, Miz is able to slide in, hit Barrett with the skull-crushing finale, and get the 3 count before Ryback can, stop it from happening. Ryback gets a 73. Wade Barrett gets a 68. Miz gets a 63. Sheamus gets a 70. And then post-match, Wade Barrett is, of course, unhappy with Ryback, and Ryback pushes them back, and they start arguing as the babyfaces, celebrate as this gets a 69. Then we go backstage, where the Funkadactyls and tons of Funk are basically, just dancing and causing chaos backstage, as they do. Just a simple, quick comedy segment, as announcers put over that Sweet Tea will be facing Mark Henry tonight, and Mark Henry has told WWE.com he's sending this as a message to Jinder Mahal, what he could be doing here in the WWE. As this gets to 26. And then we have the Big Show defeating Kurt Hawkins in 312 by pinfall the chokeslam. This gets a 54. Hawkins got a rotator cuff tendonitis. Okay. Big Show gets a 75. Hawkins gets a 36. Just a quick squash for Show. Okay. And then post-match, Big Show actually helped Kurt up, which probably hurt him more in real life because the whole rotator cuff thing. That's a 54. And then Big Show just leaves the ring as Hawkins, gets some medical attention. But a big win for Big Show to get some momentum back after, doing the job on pay-per-view. But, nothing too exciting there. As a solid win for Big Show. We go backstage where Wade Barrett is upset with Booker T, giving him a partner like Ryback. Booker T fires back, fine, sucker. You think I'm being too mean to you? Well, at Payback, The Miz will get another shot at you at the Intercontinental title. So we got that set up for the pay-per-view. It's Wade Barrett versus The Miz with the IC title on the line. Since you've been talking about competition all the time. There you go. And this gets to 61. It's just a quick backstage promo thing. And then Swagger in ring, who can complain that that true Americans, the Canada will never understand a true American like himself, and that he's the best technical wrestler. He's a former college wrestling star, but now he's stuck here. But now he's stuck here. Without any true talent to take him on, as Dolph Ziggler is afraid to face him one-on-one. And even worse, he has to be in Canada now. Out comes Evan Bourne. Says, okay, fine. If you want somebody to face you, I'm feeling a little jumpy after dealing with Shield all week. But if you want to get in that ring and compete, I'm ready to go. Swagger agrees, and the match is on. This gets a 56. The actual match gets a 49, which is unfortunate. As a decent match, Evan Bourne defeated Jack Swagger in 9:39 by pinfall the Airborne. Big win for Evan Bourne, as this gets a 49. Swagger gets a 54. Evan Bourne gets a 52. The fact they're so close in, sort of shows Swagger was never really at the world title level. So a big win for Evan Bourne. Yep, I see that. As the Bourne celebrates, out comes the Shield, and Bourne actually escapes through the crowd before the Shield can get down to the ring, as a crowd pops for that, as this gets a 54. So fun stuff. Getting that little angle we're going on with Bourne, Kofi, and the Shield. Then we have Mark Henry killing Sweet Tea in 341 by pinfall the World's Strongest Slam. Sweet Tea, the former Albert, future Giant Bernard, I guess, tries to do his best to actually fight back, but Mark Henry is on the mission, and he just destroys Sweet Tea, throws him around, picks him up, World's Strongest Slam, 1, 2, 3. This gets a 43. Henry gets a 58. Sweet Tea gets a 52. I'm assuming part of the problem here was that it was short, which makes sense. Then we move forward. Mark Henry, it says it's in ring, but more he's just yelling on camera. This is what you could do, Jinder. This is what you could do. Cut out the playtime. It's time to be serious. And he just walks away. 71, solid promo. Then we have the Raw Rebound featuring Daniel Bryan, which gets a 58. Fun stuff. And then we have Jericho Hormel backstage, and he's just going through his usual stuff, saying he's going to prove, why he deserves to be at the top of the mountain here in the WWE. And Big Show sort of walks by him and offers him good luck tonight. And Jericho's confused. They were tagging before, but this is years in the past. And Big Show, of course, is on the opposite side of the aisle at the moment, but I guess they're still work well together. Okay. Jericho's just sort of says thanks, and then continues on saying, Dolph Ziggler, you say you're the show off. Well, I'm the ultimate highlight reel, and I still am. As this gets a 68. Then we have the primetime players defeated DiBiase Jr. and Tatsu in 550 when Darren Young pins DiBiase Jr. with a gut check. This gets a 49. O'Neal gets a 47, Young gets a 46, Tatsu gets a 34, DiBiase Jr. gets a 42, and post-match, the primetime players celebrate, so a big win for them, as it gets a 57. And then, in our main event, which gets a 74, not the best, but not the worst either, about to add fantastic heat and great wrestling, Dolph Ziggler defeats Chris Jericho in 1441 with the zigzag. So again, back and forth, well-worked match, but near the end, Ziggler just shows why he's the World Heavyweight Champion, getting the advantage, be able to hit the zigzag almost out of nowhere, and you get the pinfall victory over the legendary Chris Jericho. Jericho gets a 74, Ziggler gets a 75. Let's see, was there anything really bad or just, let's see here. Spinal impact, stamina, right, odd feels. Okay, yep. And then post-match, DeRio comes down to the ring, points at the title, Ziggler holds it up, and there's a stare down to end the show. As the announcers put over, these two men are going to have their final confrontation at Payback, as this gets a 69. And Overload Show gets a 71. I mean, again, I know, I should be but, this is fine as far as I'm concerned, because, SmackDown is SmackDown at this point, and I'm not going to change that in 2 weeks, It's still the show on UPN or My Network TV. No, at this point it was on USA, right? Or was it still on the secondary shows? I'll have to double check that. Let's see here. Yep, Right, I knew. Okay, that's fine. Best Super Juniors. Okay, it's not even on here. First, okay, so yeah, okay, it is Money in the Bank after this. Okay, I thought it was. I was just not 90% sure. Okay, that's why I wanted to double check from before. Let's see here. I'm having a complete brain fart here of what I was going to look up. Or yeah. Broadcasting wise, as far as SmackDown, that's fine. Yeah, we got that going again. Um, yeah, I mean, if we can just add, we got Europe people who are open to us, so just Central Europe, all these. So, I mean, we could put, yeah. Let's put SmackDown on that just real quick. Oh, right, the collapse thing. Okay, well. Probably should have found a little couple extra things, but okay. Oh, it's on Sci-Fi. Okay, that's the thing I'm remembering. All right, not the end of the world or anything. I just totally blanked on who they were with. Anyway, so I think a solid set of shows here. Again, booking that 2.5 hour Raw, is really tough. It's just a pain in the ass. But I do enjoy doing it. I do enjoy booking SmackDown as it's sort of the more simpler show. And again, we have sort of to set things up. If I bring it up pre-booking, so we got, Ziggler versus Del Rio in their final confrontation, Orton versus Cena for the title. We got Sheamus versus Ryback and Barrett versus Miz for the IC title. We've got the burgeoning feud with the return of Airboom, Bourne, and Kingston. I want to see if they are, if I'm not being too dumb. Okay, so yeah, they were our team basically end of 2011. Okay, that makes sense. I just want to check I wasn't being a complete idiot about this. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, right, yeah. So yeah, they're now sort of moving towards a feud with the Shield, including over the U.S. and tag team titles possibly. We got Cena and Orton. We got this new path thing. It's at 4054. This AJ Lee Kaitlyn Secret Admirer feud is at a 52. Orton Cena is at an 81. American Values is at a 65. Ryback Sheamus is at a 71. This is basically over, but I want to transfer some stuff over. We had Big Show on his own, so you need to shift that over. The Rhodes Miz okay, Ms. Barrett with Rhodes coming eventually feud is at a 63. That's called a spoiler, but the formerly the Daniel Bryan versus Shield feuds at a 71, so move that over. Triple H Lesnar feud is still active for now, just mainly because I want to see if I can transfer some people over to it. I might end it just because it's starting to lose stuff, and then the 3MB versus Mark Henry feuds is at a 49. So solid stuff. Not the this is sort of just a building week, so things like this happen. But again, as I said at the start of the video, go ahead and bring up that census, fill it out, give me your honest opinions on the questions I'm asking, go from there. But if you enjoyed this, go ahead and give it a like, comment below on what you're enjoying and not enjoying, and subscribe to the channel for lots of TW 2020 content, including this series, my WCW 2001 series, now 2004, my MLW 2006 series, now starting in Fusion on Univision, and my WCW 1994 series, now officially heading for Spring Stampede finally. But that's it for now. So talk to you later, and adios. Have a good one.